Welcome back, guys, to the Getting It Wrong podcast, where we unlearn harmful ideas, beliefs, and ideologies that we might be holding on to. And we get practical ways to live a more fulfilled and holistic lifestyle. And we embrace our mistakes here because getting it wrong is the first step to getting it right. I am your co-host, Gabby.
And I'm Morgan.
And today we are getting into 3 things that we get wrong when it comes to maintaining friendships.
Yes, that is a good topic.
I think so
Girl.
too, because I feel like making friends is a little bit more difficult when you're an adult, but I feel like it's even harder to maintain friendships. And there's a lot of things that I have gotten wrong over the years. I can, before I get into the tips, I'm going to share a little story. So I'm really good at being dynamic when I meet new people. I talk to people and like we want to exchange information and like, yes, we're definitely going to get together. And then after that encounter, like I never hit them up and I never speak to them again. And I'm like, that is awful.
You're
That is
raggedy.
so awful. I am.
Why did you
And I'm not
catfish
perfect.
them? You like in person catfish somebody.
It's like I left them, no ghosts. Like I ghosted them.
Oh. And
Like
they probably really want it because it's hard to make friends as an adult, like you said.
it is.
And they were like, "Oh, I met somebody. She's super cool. We're gonna be friends," and you never hit them back.
Yeah, and I feel like I'm not alone though. I feel like other people do
Nah.
this as well because at the same time, I'm like, did they ever hit me up either? So it's like we kind
Oh,
of just did the same thing.
phone works both ways.
Exactly. But since that happens, I'm like, so many people struggle with maintaining friendships, and I thought it would be a good topic to talk about.
Mm-hmm.
So my number one thing that I feel like people get wrong, it actually comes before maintaining the friendship. It's the selection, the selective
Ooh, that's a good one.
pool that you use when you choose a friend. I said that so weird, but you have to be
We get
selective.
it.
Yes, you have to be
Mm-hmm.
selective about which friends that you choose. I'm like, a lot of the times the friendship doesn't work out because
Mm-hmm.
that probably wasn't the right person for you.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
So ways that you can select better friends. I feel like they say it's good to have people who think differently from you because it kind of like opens up your mind to different things. But at the same time, I feel like it's important for you guys to have the same, kind of like the same general values.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I feel like if you don't, then more than likely that person's not going to be your friend. Like maybe it'll be like an acquaintance or someone you might say hello to if you see them, but is that really somebody that you want
Mm-hmm.
to hang out with, frequently, or you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. No, I see what you're saying. I mean, I feel like I do something similar to that. Like, I mean, I think it's like kind of levels to like what kind of friends you have. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I kind of hate to say it, but like work friends, I don't be in the mood to see them outside of work. So I
Yeah, no,
typically
yes.
I'd be like, work friends. We're work friends. When they invite me to stuff, I try to come occasionally, but I don't be like all in their face. I don't know. Something about those relationships, unless we really hit it off, unless it's I probably sound terrible, but unless it's specifically like another black girl that I like relate to
Mm-hmm.
on a different level outside of work, I just don't always be in the mood.
I
Or
completely understand
mhm.
because that gets into something else that I was going to say. You also have to have categories. I was going to
Mm.
literally say you have to have categories in how you treat your friends.
Okay, we
Like
were
you
right
have some
here. I don't
exactly.
know what side of the screen you're on when we record, but I'm like, we.
You guys have to watch us on YouTube because we clown. Um, but Yes. So you can have the friends up here. These are like your real friends that you speak to
Mhm.
frequently, you see frequently, but you also have to have a category of like, maybe this is like a colleague or like a work friend. This is
See?
someone that maybe I see on a regular basis, but like when it comes to like my personal life, this is not someone I would,
Okay.
share too much of my personal
That's what it
business
is.
with.
Like levels of
Mm-hmm.
where your guard is makes a difference. Like
Exactly.
how much should I have my guard up? And
Or
work friends, I feel like it should be a little higher. Even if you really like them, like you don't know.
some
It's
work friends are kind of like in the middle to me. Like they
okay.
might, yeah, some of my work friends, I have some really close work friends, especially ones that I made in Houston.
Mhm.
Um, they're to a point to where they're like they've made it up to friend status. Like you're not like my
Oh,
best
yeah.
friend, but like we are, we're there.
Yeah, and it's probably because you don't work there no more. It makes a
That's true
difference.
too. But
Yeah.
we were still like building a
Yeah.
relationship outside of work. But that was
Mhm.
only with like one or two
Yeah.
of the people in the workplace. And that's people who I was able to trust. Like they've proven themselves to be trustworthy.
Okay. That's valid. Okay, okay.
And I feel like you do have to people do have to prove themselves to you. You also, I don't want to make that sound
Mhm.
super entitled because I feel like you also have to prove yourself to the other
Mhm.
person before they can accept you in a certain tier of their life.
Yeah. Yeah, I can see that though. I mean, because like you say, your guard is up. You want to be, to an extent, you protect yourself. So, like, if they're not letting their guard down, it's gonna be hard for you to do the same, and vice versa. So, just being open about where you guys are at is important. You know.
Exactly. And I've made this mistake so many times sharing information with people that wasn't in a certain tier in my life.
Ooh.
Like I've feel like I've made a friend and we're just
Mhm.
talking and just like sharing stuff and information. And I feel like I've shared stuff with them that I should only be sharing with someone who's in this tier in my
Oh.
life. And they're like down here. And
Ooh.
it's it's gotten messy. So I feel like in order to make sure that you maintain these friendships, you have to treat them as what tier they're in your life.
Mm. So just know where they're at and
Know where
act
they're at,
accordingly.
act
That's
accordingly.
valuable information.
Seriously, because these people can move up the tiers in your life, but I feel like if you treat them as if they're here
Mhm.
but they're really here, I feel like
Yeah.
that also becomes like a boundary issue.
Yeah, I could see that. It's like, you're oversharing. That can make them uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And then also, if you're oversharing and then you find out they're not worth that, they didn't
Mm-hmm.
get to that level, they didn't earn that level,
Mm-hmm.
and you could feel betrayed later,
Exactly.
depending on what's going on. So, valuable information, yeah. Know where the people are at,
Know where they're at.
act
That'll
accordingly.
save you a lot of that'll save you a lot of trouble later on. So
Okay.
that's definitely something I've gotten wrong, not being super
Mhm.
selective with the people that I let into my life and not treating them um, regarding what category they are in my life. That's something I've had
Mhm.
to learn over the 28 years of my life. Um,
Yes.
and number two, what I've gotten wrong is being able to deal with conflict within your friendships.
Ooh.
Because I feel like a lot of friendships don't have to end, but they do
Mhm.
because the friends don't want to deal with any type of conflict.
Ooh.
They want to avoid the confrontation and they just end up drifting away.
That's a no, that's a good one. That's a really good one because then I think it can also kind of circle back to like our boundaries episode.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you know where your boundaries are, then the conflict is less like you said in the boundaries episode, you had a situation where you wanted to set a boundary, and once you did, you were like, well, at first you were afraid to do it because you thought it would like end the or impact the relationship, but after you did it, you were like, oh, like she didn't
Yeah.
even
And like if you would have just
care.
had that conversation,
Yes.
it could have all been. It could have all been handled. I mean, I've
Yeah.
been in situations like that. I don't know about you, but it's like
Mhm.
you might have said something to a friend and you feel like they might have taken it some sort of way, but like they never say anything. And you like kind of, and I kind of like don't want to make a big deal about it. But then that person like,
Mhm.
and you think everything's fine because they don't say anything. But then
Ooh.
that person, like it just causes the lack of communication causes room for confusion. It causes room for just people to misconstrue what's going on, and it just causes conflict. It causes friend breakups, and it all could have been handled if we just would have had a conversation, or
Yeah.
or people just need better conflict resolution skills. I'm not
Yeah.
sure, but because it's like some people might want to
Mhm.
talk about it, but it's like they don't even know how, so they just kind of like let it go. I don't know.
Yeah, no, that's a good one cuz like I know I don't always like communicate honestly. It sounds crazy, but I just be forgetting about what I was mad about, and then I won't talk about it until I'm mad about something again. So like I legit just
Mm.
I'm like, "Oh wait, and that's why I don't like you cuz I forgot I didn't like you." And we was hanging
Oh
out, and
man.
then you did the same thing again and made me mad last time, and I'm like, "Oh yeah, I didn't like you." Like, yeah, you got to if anybody else deals with this, try and write down your feelings
No,
so we can
seriously.
remember, yeah.
Yes, that could be a thing. I don't think I've ever forgotten. Maybe I have forgotten why I don't like
Some people
somebody, but
forget.
I feel like sometimes people need a reminder too. It's
Yeah.
like somebody might do something to you and you're like, I didn't like that, but you still hang around
Mhm.
that person.
Mhm.
But then you need it
Yeah.
to happen a couple more times for you to be like, oh no.
Now, see, it took me a second to put my finger on it, but what you doing is funny acting, and I don't like it. Yeah, and yeah, sometimes you can't necessarily describe what it is. You're like, I need confirmation. It needs to happen again.
Mm-hmm.
Um, because I don't want to sound crazy when I'm like, the way you picked up your purse last time, I wasn't feeling it.
I
Like,
completely understand.
you
Sometimes
know.
you just have a feeling.
Yes, especially with women, we get a vibe and we're like, something ain't right here. I don't know what it is, but it's not right. And a lot of time you be correct on that. The vibe was
A lot of times. I don't think I've ever been wrong.
girl. I'm like, now they may have lied and said I was
Mm-hmm.
wrong about it, but then it came back
Mm-hmm.
around and I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
I
But
felt the
that
vibe.
also brings up the question when it comes to maintaining friendships. Um, how do you know when it's time to cut off a friendship or bring it to their attention? I guess it makes sense to bring it to their attention first. And if the behavior continues, that's when it's time to
I'm
cut
so
it off.
sleepy because I'm laughing at you because you be doing that for real. You be like, should I cut you off or
This is a
should
constant battle of mine when I meet new people and
Gabby
try to
will
make
cut
friends.
Gabby will cut people off without telling them why. That's why I was laughing. She's like, should I cut you off or should I tell you why I'm cutting you off? Like, so you cutting them off. Like, I'm tired. I'm sorry.
Yeah, either way, you're going to get cut off, but it's like, do you deserve an explanation or not?
That's yes. But I feel like most people deserve an explanation. Um, that's debatable, honestly. I take it back.
I agree. It's debatable
Yeah.
because it's like you
But
were only in my life for a short time.
mm,
It's like we might as well just cut the losses.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
how I
So
feel.
I mean, but that's a good point though. You have to ask yourself, is it worth a conversation first? If it's worth a conversation, bring that up because a lot, like we said, communication can be a lot of the issues. So
Mm-hmm.
communicating why or how
Mm-hmm.
you've gotten to this point. If you've communicated before and over and over and over, and you've gotten to the point where you're like, now we're circling back here. We're back at the same point we were last time. We discussed this. I cannot have you in my life any longer. Then I mean that's what it is. But yeah.
Yeah. And I do want to clarify when I say cut off, I don't mean cut out of my life completely. It's really just knocking someone down like a tier
Oh.
in my life. It's
Okay.
like you were here, but you have proven to me that you don't deserve to be here. So I'm
Mm.
putting you here. But I think that's also a problem that I have because I always see the best in people. So it's like when they're in my life, I feel like they're always starting off a little bit higher than what they probably should. They should start
Aw.
here and like move up instead of like starting here and like me having to like move them down.
Oh, that's a good point too. And that, I mean, that I don't think people always realize that they don't necessarily have to be completely cut off, but they may just change tiers. So if they have to change tiers, as long as they're aware, like we no longer talk on the phone. But if you want to invite me to a kickback, I'm with it. Then that's, it is what it is.
Yeah, I totally agree. So I want to circle back to the point because the number two was dealing with conflict.
Oh,
And I know I feel like we kind of got a little bit lost, but it's fine. It's what we
yeah.
do. Um, but so number one was being selective about your friends. Number two
Mhm.
was dealing with conflict. And number three, a third thing that a lot of people get wrong, including myself, is understanding that your friends will change,
Yeah.
like individually, like they change within themselves. So how they
Mm.
were before, they're not the same person that they were then. They're a
Mm.
totally different person now. And so you kind of have to adapt your friendship a little bit. I mean, you guys are still
Okay.
friends, but you kind of have to adapt your friendship a little bit to make
Mm.
room for the new person that they're becoming.
Okay. So it's like you can change tiers along the course,
Mm-hmm.
along the way. It may fluctuate, and that's
Yeah,
okay.
it may fluctuate, and that's okay.
Okay.
That's
That's a good
completely
point.
okay. Because I feel like at a certain part in our friendship, like we were barely speaking, barely talking. That doesn't mean we
Mhm.
weren't great friends. It just means at
Yeah.
that point in our life, like we were just going through different things and
Right.
it just is
Exactly.
what it is. But
Yeah.
now it's like we've
Yeah,
moved
we
up in the tier and people's in our lives again. We're at a point where we're talking every day. And it wasn't even anything malicious.
absolutely it was
Nothing at
just like
all.
we just both like we had kids, we had a lot going on. Just like trying to maintain everyday life, and things just like fluctuate. Even like we were talking a little bit less like in college, and it was like we
Mm-hmm.
just had stuff going on. Like we hey, but like you said, it was nothing malicious. It was just a part of life. But the
Yeah.
fact
And
that we were
yeah.
able to like maintain our friendship for so long is pretty dope.
Yeah. And I feel like, and we never, I think the thing is that we never took anything personally.
That's true. And we both have like this mutual understanding throughout the course of our friendship. We're like, I know Gabby's got stuff going on. I'll just text her, even though I don't do that enough. But, and vice versa. You just be like, hey, checking in, you
Yes. I
know?
think I would just call you at like random time, just be like, hopefully she
Mhm.
answers.
Exactly. Hmm.
But yeah. And you know what? That wasn't a point, but I think it should be. Not
Hmm.
taking things personally is probably one of the number one things that helps you maintain your friendship
Yeah.
because everyone is going through their own individual thing.
Yeah, I think that's a great point for like lifelong friendships. If you're going to have a friendship for a really long time, and especially if it's worth having that friendship for a really long time, you just have to understand that we are growing individuals and things are just changing, and you just have to, understand that that person is going through stuff. Like, yeah. And if you take it personally, if you get in your feelings about like, and that may just be your personality. You just have to understand your friends different personalities, if they take things more personally, and that's something that you can maintain, like keeping up with them a specific way, then it is. But if not,
And more than likely, I cannot. I'm like, you either have to accept
uh,
that I cannot connect with you at this level at this point in time,
yeah.
or Maybe this
Yeah.
just isn't the right friendship for us. I don't know.
Yeah, it's not our season. We'll
It's
come
not
back.
our
Maybe we'll
season.
circle back, but not our season.
Maybe, maybe.
It's okay. But
All
just a
right.
review, like, or
Mm-hmm.
are we gonna review?
Yes, we can totally review. So, number one, be selective about your friends.
Mm-hmm.
They should have different categories in your life. Number two, in order to maintain a friendship, you have to deal with conflict. Number three, you have to understand that your friends will change and they might have to change tiers in your life, but it doesn't have to be anything malicious. You guys can come back around. And number
Mm-hmm.
four, our new one is do not take anything personally, especially with your lifelong friendships.
Yeah. Good. Good tips. Good tips.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So we're
Okay,
going to go
I
ahead and end it here. And I
yeah.
do want to let you guys know you can find us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and YouTube. You can find us on Instagram at Getting It Wrong Pod, Twitter at underscore Getting It Wrong. And you can email us if you have any questions or if you have any suggestions on what you want us to talk about at gettingitwrongpod@gmail.com. One more thing, I almost forgot. We have an email list now.
Yay.
Yes, you guys can join us. You can click on the link in our bio on Instagram. You can sign up for our email list there. When you sign up, you will get
Mm.
access to a list of journal prompts that can help you live a more fulfilled and balanced life. Um, what else can they find? Well, it doesn't matter because when you sign up, you'll get updates on when we drop new episodes, and you'll also get weekly tips on how to live. You'll get weekly practical and holistic tips.
Yes.
So we're really excited about that. So go ahead and you can find it in the link below if you're watching on YouTube. Link below, link below,
Yeah.
link,
That's what
link,
they do,
link
right?
below. You can find it on the link below. So I'm getting tired
Girl, you know I'm
and
tired. I'll be acting
so
dumb.
exactly. So we're gonna head out. We'll talk to you guys later.